done me wrong. Oh, you done me wrong. No, you done me wrong. And now you're gone.
James Brown, with his 6th grade education, is probably one of the sharpest businessmen that you'll ever run into. He has what you would classify native talent. James Brown, I imagine, earns about, let's say he grosses about $4 million a year in his total enterprises. He has, right now, we presently own 2 stations, and we have a 3rd station that's for approval with the Federal Communications Commission.
This is Tony Scott reporting Pulse Beat News from WRDW Augusta, a James Brown station.
There were only 5 black-owned stations in the country, and we own 2 of them.
Well, the big thing about Johnny and I show, the Mel Cook Show, doing our thing with the housewives. Here on the Friday, and it's called Cupid here on the Mel Cook thing. That's swing.
Mr. Brown also owns the Learjet that he travels in. Some houses that he owns, property in Atlanta, property in Macon, and also Gold Platter Corporation, which is a fast food franchise. Also, it will eventually develop into a motel. James Brown is financing all of his own businesses himself personally, which is really true black capitalism because it's all his own money. We are finding out also that black capitalism can work.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start the press conference, and for your convenience, we have prepared a proposal that sets forth all the details and mechanics of the black and brown trading stamp. I saw one man out of the whole nation, not the Beatles, not the Rolling Stones, but a black man. He was an entertainer, took the concept of education, said don't be a dropout, and had millions of youth saying, I believe. We talked to Mr. Brown for a few minutes, and he says, gentlemen, you have to meet some conditions. I said, all right, what do we have to do? First of all, he said, 20% of all the money has to go back into the community. 20% of all that you make has to go for scholarships and research, and many of the college students throughout the United States that are looking for direction, they have to have that money. He said, all right, brother, we together. There are young people who have never before in their life saved stamps. They weren't interested. You give them the stamps and they throw them away. We tell everyone, don't throw your stamps away. We can use them for clothes, the things that we want. As a matter of fact, this is the first stamp company in the world where you can use black and brown stamps to pay your rent. This is the reason that we're enthused and we're proud, because we're saying people support the people stamp, and the people stamp will support the people.
This is the idea of us getting together, an idea of keeping the money into the black community. If we can keep the turnover going, then we shall overcome. Only if we all come over. I never had a chance to experience growing up as a kid. I was 15 years old. I was taken by the authorities, police, taken away from home, and I was the populous kid in school. But I was a bad kid. It took me about 300 miles away from home to a camp just like that, where I had 8 to 16 years. 8 to 16 years, that's a long time. I served 3 years, and I was going into my 4th year, and I decided that I better straighten myself up. So I decided I got to get my thing together. I got to get down to where it's at, right down to the nitty-gritty. And that was me. Nothing was happening with me. So I wrote to the parole board, and I talked to them, and I asked them would they let me out and give me a chance to go out and do something on my own. I was proud, but I want to get out and exercise my pride and my dignity and my respect for myself. So I got out. They wrote me a letter back and they let me out. And ever since that day, when I got out, I was 22 years old. And ever since that time, I've been fighting, trying to do it. I know you see James Brown on the stage and say, well, I wish I was like James Brown, but it doesn't mean anything. Because I'd like to be like you and start all over again and get myself a real good education. Enjoy yourself, but don't forget there's a tomorrow. Don't forget there's a time when you'll be the same age as James Brown or the same age as your mother and your dad, and you won't be able to do nothing unless you have a good education. When you got to go out and have to pay the rent and have to buy the clothes yourself, and you don't get that allowance for nothing, the only allowance you get is you have to earn it yourself, then you're in trouble. Get it together now. So when you go to get a job, don't go just to get a good job. Go with saying, one of these days I'll probably own this company, be the general manager, or build one of my own. And don't ever think you're down under nobody. You're just proud and keep your head up high and do what you got to do as a people. And always say it loud that you're proud.